Make some noise for Shir!
There it is. That's the way to start any show right there. Hold on, let's do this. I do have many talents, but there it is. Hello. Fantastic. My name is Shir Aviv. I'm a Microsoft Excel instructor. And can I be honest with you guys for a second? You seem like a cool group. Is that cool? Yeah, that was a late response, but I appreciate it. My goal is to be the #1 funniest Excel instructor in the history of the world. So I really appreciate you being here tonight to help me perfect my craft. Just right off the bat, one thing that really bothers me about the way people perceive Microsoft Excel is that they think of it as, one-dimensional and like, oh, that's great for accounting and finance and like marketing and budgeting. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's like useful for everyday life in every possible situation. I mean, meeting at an arcade is one very, very useful scenario for that. You have all the different games you might play, all the different quarters you might need, right? You put that all into a spreadsheet with some rows and columns, throw a little pivot table on top of that, some pivot charts, some VBA to automate the whole thing, get a little dashboard going. It's unbelievable the things you can do with Excel. Man, I don't know why I'm still single. It's a bit of a mystery to me, but I do enjoy the online dating. It's a lot of fun. I actually, I'm on this site called OkCupid. I don't know if any of you know about this site. Apparently no one does. It's a cool site. You can actually pay for this thing called a boost, right? So the boost is like giving yourself a lot of exposure in a short amount of time. But the cool thing about the boost is that you can actually see things like how many people view, how many people click, how many people like, how many people message, which means you get all sorts of amazing insight, like the conversion rates, the click-through rates, the cost per click, the cost per mutual like. I'm sitting there getting so turned on by these analytics, I've almost forgotten why I'm on the site in the first place. It's amazing. Thank you very much. Some marketers in the audience, I appreciate that. Marketing's fantastic. Maybe not in the Bible, but in general, it's really good. So another great thing about online dating is that you get to learn a lot about a person just from the words that they use in their profile. They give a lot of insight into their personality. So one very, very common phrase I love reading on women's profiles is, I like to go out, but I also like to stay in, which to me is fantastic because she has so many different interests. This could I really appreciate that. It's true, it's a very, very common phrase. Another really common phrase is, I'm a bit of a girly girl, but I'm also one of the boys. And I think that's wonderful. I love gender equality issues. I want someone else to appreciate the subtle nuances. This is going to be a match made in heaven. It's going to be great. But my favorite phrase by far is, I like to hang out with friends, travel, and try new things. I mean, is she the perfect, like the full package or what? I mean, that's like, it's got everything you would need another person all wrapped up into one. I love reading those kind of things. But, one of the other interesting things about online dating is that there are some really annoying things, right? So some pet peeves that I have are, when you have other people in your profile picture. Just to clarify, it's not, having just one is fine, because then you have proof that you have actual friends and you're not a psychopath. That's great. I do appreciate that. But then when you have every single photo, you and other people, and I'm all of a sudden using my deductive reasoning skills to figure out who you are and your own profile, that's a whole different story. I don't think that works. I mean, ladies, I'm now trying to find the lowest common denominator here to figure out who I'm actually messaging. It's not a good look for you. Think about it. But occasionally it is worth all this wonderful effort that we put into it because, I actually clicked with this one girl a little while back. We really hit it off. She's a math genius, as in she works at the Genius Bar at Apple. And she was like, we saw eye to eye on so many things. We had so many similar values. And, it was great because we got to go out, but we also got to stay in. We really shared a lot of really great things together. And yet, one of the other things that was really great about it was, we really connected until we actually got into this really big fight. And it turns out she was really never willing to switch from Mac to PC. Like, that was never a thing. And I was like, yeah, that was my response. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, full stop. Religion, politics, like, we can compromise on these things. You mean to tell me you're not even willing to entertain the idea of switching operating systems? What are we doing here? Like, we're wasting our time. This is not going anywhere, really. It's really offensive, so that had to stop. But it was a shame because I was even willing to meet her halfway and actually have our kids use Google Sheets, but she didn't want to go for it. So I was going to compromise. But this other girl I went on a date with started out really promising. She was really nerdy, she watches Star Trek, she organizes her closet by color, by type, by size, and I was like, you're saying all the right things right now. And then she tells me this true story, swear to God, she tells me I'm a part-time abacus instructor. And for those of you who don't know, one person knows. For those of you who don't know what an abacus is, this is a tool that predates Excel by, I don't know, like 4,000 years. I mean, it's just like, it's one of those things, right? If we ever went on vacation together, we were traveling, I'd be on my TripAdvisor app, and she'd be like bartering with the locals for a ride on their donkey. Like, that's the equivalent there, so not really gonna happen for me. That end, unfortunately. But in general, I do try and upgrade things and really get to the new level of personal and professional development. So I actually tried to upgrade to Microsoft Office 2016. Anyone try upgrading yet? Yeah? Yeah. It's what? It's automatic. Not quite, right? See, for me, not quite how it happened. I wish. There were some serious error messages I ran into, so I tried to do everything, nothing was working. I finally called Microsoft tech support. I figured they'd give me a break, We try everything, but they first put me on the phone in India, then they put me on the phone in the Philippines, then they transfer me over to the supervisor, then I'm talking to the supervisor. We tried to uninstall, reinstall, we tried to do safe mode reboot, we tried to use a different user account. Nothing is freaking working, and after 3 grueling hours on the phone with tech support, this is what they tell me, I kid you not. Mr. Aviv, it seems as though we've exhausted all basic troubleshooting options, and at this point the next step is to upgrade to paid support. Let me just let that sink in for a second. Paid support. That's like going out on a first date with someone and saying, listen, I know we had dinner, it didn't really work out, but tell you what, pay me a small fee, and I promise you'll be way more charming from here on out. Just trust me on this one. What do you say? Thanks so much. You guys have been great.
Yeah! All right, Shir, ladies and gentlemen. Shir, there you go.